Hello world, it's Jennifer Dawn Bishop Bevan, pop star, politician, and one of the leaders of I Don't Know More Canada. A special hello to all my friends in KIBERA, Kenya, the second largest slum in Africa. Okay, to begin with, who am I? Exactly. I am the granddaughter of Chester Noel Bevan. Okay, he was married for over 50 years to Daphne Ojig, who is one of the most famous Canadian Ojibwe artists in the world. My grandfather, he worked with the First Nations people, developing project plans for them, and he helped mass produce Daphne's artwork so that she is worldwide known. Okay, he helped make her a business where she started making prints of her artwork. Okay, my uncle is Daniel Bevan, and he works for Aboriginal Affairs and Northern Development Canada. So my family has a standing of working with the First Nations and has been involved in politics for a long time, and I am continuing that. Okay, and I am extending my knowledge and my education that I have learned in Canada, and I am and my business skills to the youth who live in the slum in KIBERA, Kenya, Africa. This is a problem. There's 1.8 million people who live in this slum. Okay, there are thousands of youth that have graduated from secondary school and they're ready to go to university, but they don't have the money. There are no jobs in the slum. Okay, how did this project come to be? I'm a musician. Okay, I was on Twitter advertising that I was coming out with a pop song, blah, 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 and I found a blog by a poet called Brian J.B. advertising words for sale. I went on his blog and I read a poem of his where he was talking about how he had dated and rated and never hated. And I'm a single mother of a 2-year-old, and yes, I'm slightly heartbroken. Okay, so I sent him a note, like, I really love your poem, and started telling him stuff about myself, and that I wanted to get to know him, and I had no idea where he lived, or how old he was, or anything. I thought by his words he was like 30 or something. I'm 37. He sends me back a note saying, well, Jenny, you're quite the storyteller. Did you know that I'm only 20 years old? And I'm like trying to play it cool. So, because I know people do date younger people, okay? However, you can probably tell just by the way that I talk. I've dated mostly older businessmen, to be honest. Okay, so anyways, not to say I'm not interested in somebody younger, but I just didn't know he was only 20. So I tried to be cool about it, and I sent him back a note saying, yeah, that's what I thought. And then he sends me back a note, and do you know where I live? And I'm thinking that he lives hopefully in Toronto or the United States, and we can hook up and go for dinner, or just talk, or whatever, and I'm considering going out with a 20-year-old. Like, I'm going through all this in my head, I'm like, what? And then he tells me he lives in KIBERA, in the second largest slum in Africa, and he's trying to get money to go to university, and that's why he's selling his poetry. So I'm like, okay, you know what, I want to help you. Maybe I can buy a poem. So I'm like, I'll buy a poem off you for 75 bucks, I'll put it on a canvas, I'll sell the painting for 150, and 75 for you and 75 for me. However, after we started talking a bit, I friended a few more people from KIBERA, some other youth, and we all started talking, and we all wanted to know what could we do for KIBERA. They weren't just out for themselves, they wanted to help other people in KIBERA too. So in our naivety, okay, we're like, well, let's change the slum into a city. That's what I thought first thing. I'm like, well, they do stuff like, I've seen how they build up Las Vegas. You know, NASA has space stations. I'm like, let's build this slum into a city. Okay, you guys, the slum is built in the middle of a garbage dump. That's the first problem. We don't know what to do with the garbage. However, the youth there are willing to work for pay to get rid of the garbage, but that's what the people have been surviving on is the garbage. Pretty much. Okay, and the environment is terrible. They don't have clean water. They don't have medical. They don't have enough food. It's all little shacks, like little cubicle shacks. It's not really a place that is, it's possible to change it into a city, okay, but the land, there's issues about the land as well. Like, it's not really anybody's land. These people are displaced people that have just been shoved over onto this land. So there's politics around developing it too. So I'm not saying it's not possible, but that's not where I'm going to jump in. Okay, if somebody else wants to change a slum into a city, by all means, go and do it. I know it's possible, but I've seen how they build up hotels in Las Vegas, that's why. I've seen how fast they do it too. Okay, but I'm not doing it. What I am going to do is I'm going to get these thousands of kids that are secondary school educated, okay, and they have been educated by their parents' blood, sweat, and tears on the premise that education will get them out of poverty. Somehow, their parents, they've had to pay for their primary and secondary school educations. Their parents have done it. Now these kids are ready to go to university. I've seen their writing. They write better than I do. They don't even make spelling mistakes. Okay, they're ready to go to university, but they have no money. And the universities there cost the same as the universities here. And they seriously have no access to jobs. They have no money. They're stuck. They're stranded there. Okay, so thank God for computers. Okay, or I wouldn't even know these kids existed. And by the way, I'm filming this on a Mac computer, which films everything backwards. So I'm filming it in a mirror. Okay, so what's my plan? My plan is there's thousands of kids that need student loans to get into university. Okay, so I'm going to pick my favorite 3 big businesses. I'm going to borrow $1 billion from each of them. Okay, then I'm going to bring the $3 billion to the bank. I'm going to get the bank to help me go to KIBERA. These kids are so poor, they don't even have ID. All they have is a little number. Okay, they can't even afford to get ID or to apply for any kind of anything. Okay, they have nothing. I'm going to go there with my bank people. I'm going to handprint them, take a picture, fill out their student loans, get them out of the slum and onto campus. If I can get them onto a campus, they have the best chance of finishing their education, repaying back the loans. Out of the $3 billion that I lend, these kids aren't going to pay me back the money because it's going back to me. They're going to pay me back the loans plus interest because the money's going to go back into a fund for KIBERA so that other kids can get student loans. Okay, that's how it's going to work. But, first of all, I need to repay the $3 billion, and I want to make an extra $3 billion because I'm not getting involved in all this business to come out broke. Okay, I want to be a billionaire too. That's how business works in Canada. Okay, so my 3 favorite businesses, I'm going to get them to sell $2 billion worth of these little bracelets, which everybody loves right now in Canada. They're the fad. Okay, I'm going to get them to sell these so I can repay back the loan and make an extra $3 billion. Okay, what companies have I picked? Starbucks. Here we go. I made them this. I made art for each of the companies that I want to borrow the loans from. This is Merry Christmas, Happy Eid, and Happy Hanukkah. KIBERA loves Starbucks. Okay, and I've made this like a postcard, and it has a stamp, a Canadian stamp with the princess and the prince on it. And Brian JB, he wrote a poem for me for this picture. It says, "Focus to follow my dreams and never fall by the way, 'cause after tomorrow I believe there's another life, and by the time I'm through with this, there'll never be any strife." So Starbucks is going to sell $2 billion worth of these. I'll make sure that they're cool, like nice colors. I might even put like prizes. I might get some other companies to put prizes. So if you buy a bracelet, like you might win a car or something like that to get to sell them faster. Okay, it's the public who is going to help me succeed here. It's the population in Canada. It is the public who has control over this business. If you guys call Starbucks, McDonald's, that's my next one, and Scotiabank, and you guys say, "We'll buy the bracelets, we'll buy the bracelets," especially if there's some kind of a game, okay, where a couple people donate cars and stuff, people will buy these. If you guys promise to buy these, this business is a success. All you have to do is buy the bracelets. It'll probably take about 2 to 3 years. Then these bracelets will stop being sold. So they will be collector's items. I will move on to another project. These companies will move on to another project. The kids are going to have scholarships. These kids, after they graduate from school, they're going to become doctors, lawyers, politicians, business people. They're going to go back to their community. They know what to do about KIBERA. I don't. Okay, there's too many politics involved that I don't know because I'm not there. Okay, so let's just work on the business. Okay, here's one from McDonald's. Okay, this is Who's the Mac? And it's George A.COHON. This is the guy who opened up the McDonald's in Russia, you guys. Okay, he has got a lot of connections, and I would love for this guy to work with me on this project. Okay. And then I picked a bank. I tried to find a bank that deals in Africa, that deals in Kenya. I couldn't find any. So I just go into my home bank, which is Scotiabank. Okay, and I'm saying, I'm going to give you $3 billion, help me invest it in very safe investments, and help me give personal student loans out of my money. I'm sure that they can do this, okay? And I've put their business plan from one of their brochures to have a successful business, and I've done everything on it, okay? So they should help me for sure. Step 1, it's all about you. It's about me becoming a billionaire and me getting these kids into school. Your perfect business, I've described it to you guys, okay? Market research, I've done that. I have developed a vision. Build your business plan, I've done that. Find advisors, I'm doing that right now. Raise your startup funds, got that covered. Recruit your team, partners, employees, and suppliers. Mostly it's the public who's going to make this work, but I could definitely use anybody who is into big business and wants to contribute some of your knowledge or some of your cash. Call me for sure. Okay, get your business up and running. That's what we're doing right now. Develop your personal plan. That's where I make the extra $3 billion so that I am always worth $3 billion. This is business. Okay, I'm not going to get involved in something and come out poor. Okay, so I want to have $3 billion. I'm putting in $3 billion. I want $3 billion after. Okay. However, to be honest, you guys, Brian doesn't know this. Hey, Brian, Brian JB and KIBERA. When this plan goes through, I'm going to be splitting that $3 billion with you, since it's you and me who started this whole project. Okay, so we're both going to be billionaires. We're both going to have $1.5 billion, and you are going to finish your university, and you are going to become a journalist, bro. Okay, final advice, stay in the game. Okay, so to do that, well, I'm keeping my money to play with. Okay, I'm going to invest in some other kind of, I'm going to be like an artist philanthropist. So I'm going to make money, but I'm going to get people out of poverty. And I'm suggesting that everybody now, you guys, forget about not-for-profit charities. Okay? Make a for-profit charity. It's a lot easier to start a business and start it where you're giving somebody else money than it is to start a nonprofit. Okay, in Canada, it takes 3 years to get a nonprofit license and $5,000. Okay, it's a lot easier if you just start your business and start it where you're going to become rich and you're going to get people out of poverty. Okay, so let me just fix my computer here. Okay, lastly, staying in the game. This painting is for anybody, okay, and it's for $25,000. All my paintings now I'm selling for $25,000, and if you guys take a good look at this painting, okay, this painting means a lot, okay. I'm not going to go into describing it. I'll do it at another time, but right now it says, out of the slum and onto campus, okay, but like they said, a picture says billions of words. Okay, thanks everybody, and have a great day.